from Web50, the Harvard class, Harvard X class. And this is going to be a video to present on my Wiki project and all its functions and how I implemented it. So let's go to there. We're going to run this command just to get the temporary URL to see our project, to test it. So we're presented with the website, with the wiki, and now let's go to each specification just to explain, to make sure that each one of them works. So entry page, we see that we have to make sure that when we type this in the URL and we put an existing entry name or title, we should be taken to that page, to that entries page. For example, we can do Django, and we see that Django, in fact, it takes us to, we see that the wiki takes us to that Django entry page, so that's fine. Now let's see that we type, let's say that we type, I don't know, an entry that does not exist. I think Java does not exist. Yeah, Java does not exist. We see an error page that says no entries named Java, so that's good. Now let's go to, index page. Let's get an index page. Index page basically tells us that we have to turn all of the entry names or titles into a link. We have done it, and it takes us to each of those corresponding entries pages. So we see this, we see this, and we see this. It's fine, that's my page, so that's good. Okay, that works. Search, we have to make sure that when we type a name of an entry that exists, it takes us to that entries page. And if we type a query that does not match an entries name, but in fact it is a substring of a entry title, we should be taken to a search results page that displays all of the entries whose query is a substring, basically. So we're gonna, for example, ITHA, which is not an entry, but it is a substring of this entries title, Python. We type T, for example. T is a substring of all of this over here. We see that it is, in fact, a substring. T, it has a T, Git has a T, HTML has a T, this has a T, and this has a T. So that's great. Let's say that we go to an actual entry that exists. Great. It takes us to the page of that existing entry. So that's good. And let's say that we type an entry that does not exist at all and it's not a substring of any entry's title. So let's say, for example, we type Go. Actually, that was a bad thing. Let's type, I don't know, C#, for example. That's not a substring nor an existing entry. So it takes us to this error page. That's great. We go to new page, create new page. It says that we have to put a title, for example. Let's say that we put an existing title, which gives us an error, and we type the content here in Markdown, Markdown format. We type submit, but it takes us to an error page that says an entry title Django already exists, so that's good. Now let's say we create a new page that says CS50, and we type the we create a temporary entry, so it says, and we save, submit. You see that it, just as the specification says, we save it. There's no entry called CS50. We're taken, and once we submit, we're taken to the page, so that's fine. And it's saved, okay, to disk or whatever. That's good for a new page. Now let's go to edit page. We go to home, and we're gonna try that out. We go to Git, we go to CS50, and we go edit entry. We see that we're shown all the content. Whatever, we type that, we submit. We see that we're seeing the updated version of it, so that's good. We click random page, and we see that. Once we click, we're taken to random pages all the time, so that works. And the Markdown to HTML conversion actually works because we're not seeing any Markdown here. We're seeing actual HTML. So for me, that was it.